96 Cakes on the line with me this morning. I have my author of the week, Sharon Cullars. How are you, Sharon?
I'm doing fine, Kim. Thank you for having me on your show.
I was just going to say thank you for being on my show. Let's talk about your new book.
Okay.
Snatched?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, this is my first self-published one.
Okay.
Actually, it's my second.
Okay.
Celia in early 2000
Right.
was my first one. This is following again and all of the other traditionally published books.
Now, I haven't read the book yet, but I'm loving the synopsis of the gang, the biker gang, and how there's a guy that's really, working. Go ahead.
It came about, with a what-if question. What if you put a black woman in this type of environment, which is kind of racist, criminal? How would she react?
Right.
And whatever. And I had to bring it about. I twisted commonality in such a way that it was almost ridiculous the way she actually was taken into that culture.
Right.
I mean, she did something totally stupid, throwing a rib tip. She got mad because she was almost clipped by them.
Right.
So, sister has to have her barbecue.
Yeah, sister got to have her ribs now.
and it fell on the ground.
Right.
So she takes one. She throws it at one of the bikers as he's passing by, and it causes him to swerve and crash.
Right.
So the gang leader says, no, none of this mess, right?
Right.
You don't front us off. So they literally snatched her off the street.
Right.
And, thus the name, Snatched.
Snatched. Got it.
And thankfully, or unbeknownst to the leader, the one that she hit is also an undercover cop.
That's right.
Trying to get information on the gang.
Wow.
So, I said thankfully because he's going to work, to keep her alive.
Right.
And keep her unscathed. But he also has to bring down the gang within a limited time, which is why the story really takes place over like 2 or 3 day period.
Gotcha.
So there's not a lot of time to build up an actual romance, but there is like a smoking.
A little romance.
Yeah. And so someone even suggested that I do a sequel.
I think you should.
I
agree.
Kind of elongate the romance.
Yes.
Because it wouldn't been, I don't think it would have been feasible to make this like a hard thing in 2 or 3 days.
That's true.
Especially given everything that was happening. There was gang fight. And smuggling of drugs.
Yeah.
He's given a time limit to find like $50,000 worth of stash that's been stolen. Otherwise, he'll be killed. He still has to get information on the gang to bring them in before he can, come out of the code, so to speak.
And all in a 2 to 3 day span. Wow. You're giving us lots of action. I love it.
This is what I really wanted because with my prior books, there really wasn't a lot of action. It was more paranormal.
I was going to say that.
And romance, and that was, what I was known for. I wanted to kind of break and see if I could.
Right.
Do, and, there is a show called Sons of Anarchy.
I know what you're talking about, yes.
It was just a coincidence. I really hadn't watched it. But while I was writing it, I started tuning in to see.
What was it about, right.
Got a few ideas.
Kind of a violent show, too.
Oh, God, yeah. There's some, and I have to, I didn't put a warning, but there is some, definite violence toward the end in the gang fight.
Gotcha.
And so, guns, knives, and all that stuff.
I was just going to say, I hate to pigeonhole an author, and I didn't want to say you were a paranormal romance writer. Didn't want to do that, because this time you went totally.
No ghosts, no anything. But who knows in a sequel?
That's right. Are you leaning towards a sequel? I hope so.
I think, it's mentioned, and I would like to flesh them out a little bit more.
Right.
And someone said, why don't you? So I hadn't thought about it, but I am kind of leaning toward it now.
Gotcha.
And he will be undercover.
Wonderful. We got to keep him undercover.
Yeah. And that's his bread and butter.
Right, that's
and
right.
Sister Girl has to have her own thing going.
That's right.
As their romance is developing.
Now, since you're not give us a little tease on what you're currently working on right now.
You know what? What I am doing, and this is just something I'm testing myself to, expanding genres. I'm trying to go into the young adult.
Got you.
And I'm inspired by Suzanne Collins.
Yes,
now,
yes.
You know, the marketability of black writers isn't the same.
True.
as mainstream writers. It's sad. I found that in romance. I found that when I went on a message thread and a reader actually said, I can't relate to a black protagonist.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh, you can relate to vampires.
Right.
In a relationship, or werewolves in a relationship,
right.
but you can't relate to two human beings who just happen to be of various colors.
Right.
And so, I realized then that market might be a little stringent.
Yes.
I'm not going to blow up like a Nora Roberts.
Right.
Unfortunately.
Right.
Thank goodness for like Beverly Jenkins, and who has led the way.
Right.
And become, an award-winning author.
Right.
Right. But in young adult, I was inspired actually by Suzanne Collins' Hunger Games.
Gotcha.
And that she actually, has, black characters.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking, what if I had a black, female protagonist in the future?
Yeah.
And an alien invasion.
Go for it, Sharon.
And I've just started writing. So I've recontacted my agent who represented me with again.
Mm-hmm.
And she's open to it because she actually has done young adult representation.
I love young adult novels. I do read them because, I do interview the author, so of course I want to read the book.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of them do pertain to a grown adult, how they're written. Mm-hmm. And plus I like young adults because we need our young people to read more.
Yeah. And also, they tend to be more imaginative.
They do. And
I have to give kudos to J.K. Rowling.
Mm-hmm.
Because before then, if someone read a children's book or a young adult book, they kept it hidden. Now they do it out in the open.
Out in the open.
Yeah. And I have to give kudos to Kindle because that has allowed even romance readers to take their Kindle onto the train and read whatever they want without book covers.
That's true.
Blinking away. Because people, I had one book called Object of Love.
Right.
And trust me, I liked the cover, but it wouldn't have been my decision.
Oh, you didn't get to make the decision of the cover.
And I passed it on electronically to an author friend, and he did a great write-up. He said, just ignore the cover.
Right.
And you don't want your readers saying that. So, I give kudos to everyone who's expanded, all the genres and made it less, a taboo to read romance or less taboo to read young adult.
That's true.
So
That's true.
This is something I'm currently working on.
Well, all right. I can't wait to read the finished product.
Oh, I'm hoping there's a finished product.
Me
and
too.
I'm hoping I'm not being pessimistic. I probably won't blow up as large as Suzanne Collins.
But hey.
But if I even get a quarter.
That'll be great.
Yes.
That'll be great.
Yes.
Now, I love your website. Looks kind of, kind of.
Paranormal.
That's it.
Yeah.
I was looking for the word for it. But paranormal is a good word.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's, I actually had to do it myself.
Did you really?
I had to save money.
You did a good job.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, I want everybody to head on over there to www.SharonCullars.com. And it's spelled SharonCuller. or AR? AR. That's right.
ARS. Yes.
Well, thank you so much. You've been a treat being on the show. We want everybody to get a copy of Snatched and all your other works, too.
Thank you.
And thank you. And I'll be talking to you, too, because you got to keep me posted on your young adult novel and your sequel to Snatched.
Oh, thank you.
Sharon, thank you so much.
Okay. Nice. Thank you for having me on your show.